What's up, mother truckers? You are now watching the Asian My Show live.
Yo, what is going on, mother truckers? I have not been on a live for so long, so we're just here. We're back to give you value. We have a great guest today, and we are going to learn, just like the title says, man, how to get direct customers. So I want everyone to welcome my guest, my guy Eric. How are you doing today, sir?
Good, brother. What's going on?
Man, we're chilling, man. I'm glad. First person I want to give a plug to, my guy Snore Lord. I'll have his stuff down too in the descriptions and things like that. Him and I are great friends, and Eric and Snore Lord are great friends. And next thing you know, now me and Eric are talking, and we're gonna become friends, right?
This is true. Building a lasting relationship, I think, with many things in the future too.
Hey, that's all we can do. So what we'll do here today, man, is let's start off the beginning by just talking a little bit about your YouTube channel and what you're trying to do, so that when it hits on the replay, people see that first. Because I hate shouting out people 4 hours into the live and then it gets washed away, right? So,
right.
I love to show all my guests the utmost respect. And so if you guys are jumping in the live, the pinned comment is going to show, and you're going to see that this is my guy's YouTube page. But go ahead, brother. Introduce yourself and your YouTube channel, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a broker now, so don't hold it against me. Don't cancel it right now yet. So I've got more information. But I've had a CDL. I have my CDL. I've had my own trucking company. I've driven over the road. I drove for Landstar, FedEx, Custom Critical. I've owned my own carrier. I'm a broker now who specializes in overdimensional freight. And basically what I'm doing with my YouTube channel is teaching carriers, carriers that are coming in and stuff, how to get their own brokerage so they can get their own direct customers, so they can invest in their company and move forward with it. And how the brokerage helps and how they need to use that to be able to cover all of the other loads that they can't haul for themselves. So with that, it's a lot of going over, the logistics side of the trucking side. A lot of truck drivers come up and they're like, yeah, I want to drive the truck. I want to do this. I'm going to get my own carrier, get my own authority and do this. And then they don't know the logistics side of it. They know the driving portion of it. So that's what I basically do, is videos explaining that down and breaking that down. Since I've been all over the industry, all over, from owning my own trucks to having my CDL, I've seen all sides. So I speak trucker, and I can try to communicate with them and explain to them how to go from there.
That's great, brother. No, I appreciate you. So, welcome to the show. And if all you mother truckers get a chance right now or on the replay, hey, if you like the information you're hearing, consider subscribing to my man, because we're going to have him on different segments. We're going to talk about how to get direct customers, because I cannot say this enough to everybody that wants to be in the trucking game. The only way that you're actually going to make some real money in trucking is if you have your own customers, right? And so I have no disrespect to truck drivers that use load boards, freight brokers, dispatchers. It doesn't matter what you use to get the load done. I get it. If you're feeding your family, that's amazing. But the optimum goal, and I think, Eric, you could agree, is when you have direct customers, you could get more piece of the pie and a better relationship, right?
Right, absolutely. And that's where the thing, people have to understand, it's like the stock market. People know day trading and they know investing is different, right? And they know that you can make a quick buck doing your day trading thing, or you can lose a lot of money doing the day trading. But even in the stock market, everybody knows that investing is where it's at to make wealth. And it's the same thing in trucking. You want to invest by getting customers so you can get wealth, not just the quick buck of the broker board. Now, that broker board, and I explain this, it's that broker board is a function. So in my opinion, what the broker board is the minimum wage job opportunity board. Okay, now hear me out. Drivers are flipping out right now, but I want you to understand here and just hear me out. When you come out as you leave a company driver and you're leased with somebody, and then you leave the lease, you say, hey, I'm going to get my own authority, and I'm going to start running my own loads, and I'm going to do this on my own. You have to look at the load board. The load board was originally designed for backhauls. You know that. You take your customer loads out, you get back with the load board, right? Well, modern technologies allowed the internet and the load boards to almost mainstream and become the customers, okay? And that's what the brokers want. They want that. So what I normally tell guys to do is say, okay, if you're going to come out on the market, run the spot market and work for brokers. But there's a goal there. Your goal is to use that broker to teach you how to get direct customers. And I'll explain. When you come out, you have to learn how to communicate with direct customers. You have to learn how to negotiate. You have to learn all this and learn about the industry, communicating, and you can practice that with the broker, right? So your goal with the broker, your first goal is to make the broker your direct customer, okay? How do I do that? Once you establish a good relationship with a certain broker and he's got good freight and you guys are kind of in with each other and you like each other, you make it so that broker no longer posts his loads on the load board. He wants to call you first, right? Because the best loads do not hit the load board. I do not post my best paying loads. I give them directly to my guys that I trust first, okay?
Gotcha.
So what you're doing is you're learning how to interact, because brokers are going to brokers are going to upset you. Customers are going to upset you. But if you don't learn how to give and take with a broker and learn how to negotiate and communicate and get your point across, if you can't do it with a broker, you can't do it with a customer. Because you call C.H. Robinson and you don't like the broker you're dealing with, you hang up, call back, you get another person, right? Well, that don't work with customers. You call that customer back, you're not getting another person. You're getting the same person. So the goal is to first come out and learn how to communicate with a broker like they're a customer. And then after that, once you can start getting brokers to give you direct freight and not put that on the load board, you're starting to be ready. You're starting to train yourself to be able to work with customers now. Because as you know, direct customers, it's a whole nother world dealing with them.
Yeah.
It's not like dealing with a broker that it's give and take with them, and it's a lot of explaining it to them. A lot of times I have to explain the rules of trucking to customers so they understand why something 20 foot tall can't get 1,000 miles in 2 days. Why not? Or like you, what do you mean you can't get there in 2 days? Well, it's 2,000 miles. I can't drive 2 days. You have to explain that type of stuff. So what you're actually doing is you're looking to use the broker to teach you how to communicate with a customer. And then what I say is, if you're good at what you do, customers will come to you. I guarantee it. I guarantee if you're good at what you do, customers will come to you. If you're good at what you do, people come to you, right? That's right. How it works. So you now have to learn how to be good at what you do. And that, in regards, becomes selling yourself to the broker, right? So when you're negotiating with a broker, don't sell your truck, because there's hundreds of thousands of trucks out there, but there's only one you. So you need to sell you first. Once you learn how to sell you to a broker, selling you to a customer is easier. It really is. But a lot of times guys come out and they say, well, I need to get a customer I need a customer. And I'm like, have you moved any loads on the broker board yet, or negotiated with brokers, or talked with brokers, or learned the lanes, learned pricing, learned much? Well, no. Well, let's start there. But your goal is to treat that as a minimum wage job, right? That load board's your minimum wage job. You want the big bucks. And the big bucks is not staying on the spot market. It's using that spot market to teach you how to get customers and be able to talk to customers. And that's when you start to get dedicated freight, guaranteed freight, real money, and all then your money. And then once you're able to do that, you need a brokerage. Now you're the broker. Because a customer is going to come to you and they're going to say, I need one truck. I need 7 trucks every week. Well, you don't have 7 trucks. So the only way for you to be able to get the 7 trucks is to have the brokerage. And then you can broker those loads to 7 of your friends or outside carriers. And then you're hauling one of the loads with them.
Quick question for you, Eric. Okay, so does a customer care if you don't have the physical trucks? Like, is it dishonest to not tell them you are a broker? How do customers feel about that when they say, hey, I have a lane and I need 8 trucks and you only physically have 1? Do you need to bust yourself out and say, look, I only have 1 physical truck, but I could definitely get it done because I have a freight brokerage as well and I can do this? What's the best practice?
Legally, you're required to tell a customer, if you are a broker, that you are a broker. You have to tell them that you don't own the trucks, because you have to tell them that. So, and here's what I always suggest people do. Okay, you want to go out and get your authority. For you to get your authority, you got your trucking authority. Get your broker authority at the same time. All it is a bond, and you fill out some paperwork with the FMCSA, just like, I won't get into that now, but just like you would your trucking authority, right? My bond is it's a $75,000 bond. It costs me $1,500 a year. That's all it is, $1,500 a year. I don't have to have any software, nothing, right? You get that bond and let it collect dust if it has to until you're ready to use it. But it's there, it's sitting there, and it's building time. You know what I'm saying? And when it's time to use it, you jump on it and use it.
Now, if you let it sit with dust, does that still benefit you because it shows some months or years with your freight brokerage?
Correct.
Or
yes, it does, because the FMC is not going to ask how many loads you've moved. Customers just want to see how long the brokerage has been open. Well, it's been open for a year.
Wow, you just gave a cheat code, I think, brother.
I did, absolutely, and I got no problem giving cheat codes. Like I said, when I first started all this was COVID, and drivers were flipping out and saying, oh, we need more regulations on brokers. We need this, we need this, we need this. And I'm like, no. You need to be a broker. The last thing you want is more regulations, because you want to be a broker. You want to get your brokerage. So you want minimum regulations on it so you can be one also, because that's the only way you can get customers, because you're never going to have enough trucks. I do oversize, and there's always a bigger load for drivers. Like, oh, I need a bigger trailer. I need a bigger. There's always going to be a bigger load. There's always going to be a customer where you need more trucks, and the only way to do it is with the brokerage. And that's what it is so important to even have it and have it sit there. Because I'm going to say the last 3 months, I've had 3 people come to me, and I've been telling them they need to get the brokerage, and they're like, oh yeah, I will. And already they each have customers because they do good jobs. And it's like, no, my God, okay, now I need the brokerage quick. What do I do now? I've been telling you to do this for 2 months now.
Oh man. So Eric, I hate to stop you, but all you mother truckers out there watching this now or watching this on the replay, if you have your own authority, you need to go and spend that $1,500 for the year, whatever the heck that breaks out to on a monthly fee, and go get the damn thing done, and go get your freight brokerage and let it settle dust so it could gain experience. And then from there, you could fill and build a direct customers, and that's what you want. And you know what? On our next segment, we should actually go through it and actually help them fill it out. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I got no problem. I mean, and that's what I did too. I mean, you can go to a company like Bonding Solutions, and they'll run your price. They'll run your credit and get you your bond price.
Right.
The other thing you need, and if you don't have, and I'm not pumping this, it's the fact that I do offer this. I've been working with Triumph Business Capital. They're a factoring company, right? I've been with them for 15 years. I'm their senior I've been there the longest out of all their brokers. So when I first started doing this, because if you're going to do this, you have to have a factoring company. I would not suggest running a freight broker without a factoring company.
Can you explain why?
Well, okay. Everybody knows the triangle between good, cheap, and fast, right? You only get 2 of them, right? Well, there's the same thing in freight, and it's money, sales, and operations, okay? Money is handling all your incoming and outgoing money, paying your drivers, calling your customers, making sure you got paid, paying your carriers, and all that. Sales is getting customers, and operations is handling the operations, either driving the truck or, dispatching the freight. Well, if you want to be really good at it, you can't split yourself 3 ways. It's next to impossible, right? So I chose to give the money situation to someone else. So rather than hire an accountant and a bookkeeper, I got a deal with Triumph for 1.99 flat rate, no recourse, no ACH fees for your trucking company and your brokerage. And I said, make that happen, and I'll sell that. So for me, it was easier for me to let them handle my money so I could focus on sales and operations 100%, and just let somebody else handle the money. Because when you're they do all my collection calls, they do, they pay my carriers, they handle all that. I don't have to worry about that, because getting customers and operations is going to take up 100% of your time between the 2 of those.
Right.
So trying to do that third, either you can pay an accountant and a bookkeeper, or you can just have a factoring company. For me, I chose a factoring company because, one, I get the money up front. They forward me the money, and then they pay the carrier, and then I wait for the customer to pay the factoring company, which is nice too because they're a bank.
Okay, so and let me bring this up to people that are getting into entrepreneurship, right? Because I run a couple businesses myself. When you have direct customers, there's one thing you mother truckers need to know, and you tell me if you agree or disagree. You know what I mean, Eric?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
But when you're working with a big mega brand or customer, you think those mother guys are gonna pay you on time? It's not net 30. It's not net 60. Sometimes they pull it out like net 4 months.
I'm net 120 with GE.
There you go. There you go. So I'm just letting you guys know I dealt with it. I had a direct customer that was so big I can't even talk about it. But they don't pay you. And when I say net 30, that means they pay you in 30 days.
Correct.
When you say net 90, they pay you in 90 days. 120 is 120 days. So for people that are getting into this so they can understand the logistics behind it, well, if you have drivers going, they're doing the job, but they're not paying you for 120 days, you're going to have to get that money from your personal, from your business, from factoring. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just letting you know this is a problem that you're going to have to solve. And so you have to figure out how to do that if you don't have that cash flow coming in. So I just wanted to explain that. And if I'm wrong or right, you tell me. I'm just a person too, Eric. So don't think because you're on my show, you can't be like, you lying son of a gun.
No, absolutely. And I wouldn't be promoting them if I haven't been with them for 12 years and been using them the whole time. You know what I mean? So for me to try or this is always a fun one, to try to make, to do the calls to find out where the money is. Or there are some people that, I don't know if this happens in your industry, but they will send you a contract. And in the contract, it says, we will pay you when we get paid. Wait a minute.
That's the worst.
Okay, so I didn't know if it happened. So there are times that now they're being paid in 120 days, and then I have to wait 60 days after the 120 days that they're being paid. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, how does businesses do that? And so that's some of the contracts that I might have to sign with some of these larger customers, project management companies type stuff. They do that a lot. And it's like, okay, so now I got to wait 120 days for you to get paid. Then 60 days after you're paid, I get paid? Fantastic. Yeah. Where do I sign up?
And here's the problem so that people understand the logistics behind that. Everything in life, in transportation, has claims, has a lot of expenditures. So what they do is they get paid, and then they make sure that they don't actually owe any money back. And then when they know the actual number they get, then they cut the pie to you. So, I'm not talking to you, Eric. I'm just talking.
No, I understand.
Right?
Absolutely.
No disrespect. But with us having a little bit more people in here now, can you pretty much tell people what you do again? And pretty much, this man is heavy as a freight broker in heavy hauling. So when we talk about what kind of jobs pay the most type of money for truck drivers, well, it's freaking heavy haulers. And this man right here brokers a lot of those major deals. Am I speaking out of turn, brother?
No, I do. I specialize, like I said, I've been doing this I've had my CDL. I've had my own truck. I drove for Landstar, FedEx, CR England, Schneider. I've had my own carrier. I now have had my brokerage for 15 years. I went from moving legal freight to step deck freight all the way up, and now I specialize in nothing but over-dimensional freight. So 20-foot tall, 20-foot wide.
How much those jobs cost to do, brother? Honestly, range.
Cost doesn't mean, what do you mean? Depends. Let's say a 20-foot tall, I think you've done a 20-foot tall, 20-foot wide Texas run that might go 300 miles would probably $40,000 for about 200 miles.
So you guys need to hear between the lines, people. If some of you want to become real mother truckers and make some big cash, right now we have a guest that actually is a big time freight broker in doing these kind of hauls. I'm telling you, we're building you up so that you can make the money you want, and so I appreciate you for being on the show, Eric.
Yeah.
And shout outs, to Snore Lord as well for connecting us, right? And so, no, definitely, man. So yeah, keep on going, brother. Talk about it.
It's a lot, like I said, in a lot of the videos I do kind of break down the aspects of what I've learned in trucking and business and basically break it down saying, okay, you got to get your direct customers. Your goal is to get, because that's the other thing too, what I explain is like, okay, people come in and say, I want to have a carrier. I want to have 10 trucks, right? And my first thing I say, okay, what are you doing to get direct customers? Well, we're just going to run the spot market. I said, okay, well, what are you offering your carriers then at that point? You know what I mean? So for me, when a carrier does like an 80-20 split, to me, you have to look at it a different way. If I'm a driver, I don't look at the carrier taking 20% from me. I look at it as me paying them 20% for their part, right? So what's their part? If that carrier is bringing direct customer freight to me, well, I'm paying for some sales for him to go out and do that. So if you are a carrier and now you do 95%, but to me, a 80-20 split for a carrier is because I'm going to get an option of getting possibly some dedicated runs, some direct customer freight, and I'm going to make more money. So the goal of having that carrier is getting that direct customer for you and your contractors that you bring on to create wealth in your business. Because you're not just, Netflix makes their money by charging $20 to everybody over months. You know what I mean? You're going to continue to have money roll in wealth by having direct customer freight compared to brokered freight. So right now, I don't see any comments, but I guarantee somebody in the room is basically saying, well, how much do you make off the loads? How much do you make off the loads? How much are you taking? And I got no problem. I am not cheap, okay? But I do a hell of a lot for what I've done. But so let's go back to what, let's say if I was when I was doing legal freight, right? A broker can take 30%, 40%, depending on the lane. And it's a lot of, and people are freaking out right now. I know that, but hear me out. All right. When you get that direct customer, how you're going to handle it is you're going to run the load through your brokerage to your truck. Okay. And the reason you do that is the other reason you need a brokerage is this, and this is very important. And I think carriers forget. You get a direct customer. Let's say you have a direct customer. You don't have a brokerage. You're driving down the road and your truck breaks down. How do you now repower that load for your customer? You can't. You've got to give it back to the customer because you're not allowed to broker it. You have to give it back to the customer, right? Now, if you would have ran that through your brokerage can now repower that load legally and to another carrier to get it done, right? So that's one of the things that you have to aspect. So some of these brokers, and this is why I tell drivers a lot, is some of these brokers that are taking, let's say 30%, you don't know why they're taking the 30%. They might be handling, remember, when you're a broker, you need to know every aspect of the industry, right? In my opinion, I don't like brokers. Just so you know, I don't like brokers, and I am one. But you have to know every part of the industry. So for that 30%, I might be handling that customer's LTL, partial, rail. I might have warehousing. I do barge. There's times my pieces are too big. I got to put them on a barge. So
sailboated, huh?
yeah, pretty much. So there's a lot of other money that could be factored in to just that 30%. You know, then there's paperwork, there's checking drivers, there's checking carriers to make sure that they're legit. And a lot of drivers are not legit. And I'm seeing it more and more that they're not top of the line. So there's a lot of them that, I'm checking insurance and I'm like, yeah, this insurance isn't valid. Stuff like that went back. It doesn't happen to me much anymore because I know my carriers. But there's a lot that goes into that load. So when you become you're handling the direct customer, you could be able to give the drivers and run it through your brokers and then pay your drivers more, because that's about what they could be taking. They could be taking 30%, 27, 25% off the tops of these loads. Now,
but you're doing heavy haul, brother. I mean, that's different money.
I could be paid different though. I could be paid for my time. I could be paid because I need to be on site. I could be paid. I had one customer pay me by the hour. I spent 80 hours on the phone, for a load. You know what I'm saying? And that was recorded phone time, 80 hours to handle one load. So I can be paid a little differently. But a lot of brokers can, they're only taking 5, 10, 20%. They might be. But if I get a load for Monday and I move it on and it doesn't have to go till Friday, most likely if it's Monday and somebody takes it, that broker could be making more money on Monday than if it's a Friday. If he hasn't moved that load by Friday, he might be losing 20% because he went in there with the wrong price, where he was making 25% if he would have moved it earlier in the week. Because as it gets closer to crunch time, that broker is going to pay more money because they need it moved or they're going to look bad. So there's just a lot of
we're going to do some segments, brother. I mean, I'm liking what you're talking about. Here's the big question I have for you, and maybe you could shine some light for me, is if a customer, the direct customer, is the one that all truck drivers want, correct?
Correct.
And a freight broker has more leverage because he's able to get more trucks to fill those loads that need to be done, correct?
Correct.
Then is it more powerful and do you have more leverage to just be a broker than to even own any trucks at all?
Okay. Let me tell when I tell this drivers, first thing I want to say is it's easy to get a customer. It's hard to keep a customer. Okay. So I, as a broker, am selling something I don't have, which is a truck. So what I'm actually trying to do, what I tell brokers to do is you need to build a relationship with trucks first, not with a customer. I need to build a relationship. So let's say I was going to look at moving something in Buffalo, New York. I would look for a Buffalo, New York carrier and try to build a relationship and say, okay, I'm trying to work this customer. How much do you need to run? If I get these loads, can you haul them for me? Because I don't have trucks. Okay. I don't have trucks. So I need the truck. So what a broker's job is to be that middle. I can't lean too much towards the customer or I won't get a truck. I can't lean too much toward the truck or I won't get a customer, right? You got to find the middle.
So what's the middle ground? Because you've done both. How many trucks would you recommend someone owning and having a freight brokerage at the same time to be successful? I know successful is a very general word, but, to have free time, to enjoy family time, to, make good money, but just have a great life, right? Not to be a millionaire, but is there a certain amount of trucks you would stop at and focus on freight brokering as well?
That's a difficult thing to answer. So how I tell truck drivers to get customers is, do you remember the Matrix? Remember the first Matrix? And Neo is in the program, right? And he's walking around and everybody's wearing black and white outfits. And then there's one girl in a red dress, right? And that one girl in the red dress sticks out. Without your people getting upset, is you need to be the girl in the red dress. You need to stick out. You need to be better than every other truck in that truck stop. So you need to sell yourself. So what I normally tell people to do is you go to a customer and your job is to solve problems. You need to solve their problems. A customer doesn't want more problems. You need to solve their problems. So if they've got freight that's sitting on the dock that they can't move, you ask them, because you have a truck. You can solve their problem, right? Now, you're going to go to a small mom and pop because you're not going to jump into hauling for GE with one truck. You know what I mean? So you're going to want to find a small mom and pop and see if they've got a problem moving something. Then you go there and you say, look, I've got a brokerage. I've got a carrier. I'm a driver right now. All I want to do is prove myself. Just give me one chance to prove myself. If you got a load, I'll give you a price and I'll bring my truck tomorrow and I'll deliver it for you. Right? Just baby steps. You take that baby step. And then you get it. Now you gotta deliver. You better be the man that gets it done. You got to have good communication. Your price better work. Your truck better show up. Stuff like that. Now you get that job done. Now you ask them for another load and another load. And now for you, you've become their problem solver, right?
I like
you want to get to the point. You want to get to the point that they never. I had a customer tell me one time. He says, "You know what?" He says, "I have no idea how much I pay you. All I know it's worth it. That's all I know." You don't want them to remember how much they pay you. You want them to remember that you're worth it. And when you solve their problems, you're worth it. I mean, when you remember how much something cost, there was probably a problem with it, right? Oh, yeah, dude, I bought that TV set and it was a piece of junk and I paid $600 for it. You remember.
Makes sense.
When something was worth it, you're like, I don't remember what I paid for it. All I know is I got like 7 years out of it and it was worth it. That's what you got to be. You got to be worth it. So knowing that, it's hard to say how many trucks and stuff you'll need, but you just have to make sure you bring in the right people and the right trucks.
Well, that's another segment too, Eric, that we might be able to do is we could do a segment on maybe where we can teach the community how to kind of give a price point of where, because it's a new customer. You're not trying to go broke right away.
Correct.
And that's some of the signs too, people. Because if you get a direct customer and the first thing he wants to do is put your business into the ground by paying you 50 cents a mile, then that's not a customer that you want anyways, And so it's just one of those things where we could talk about that and maybe find a middle ground and figure out so that, that'd be pretty good. What we could do too is maybe get some subscribers on the show and they can ask their questions about that. And they could say what type of freight they do because you've done it all. I know you're expert in, heavy haul, but do you have expertise as well with pretty much any type of freight?
Yeah. I mean, and if you got heavy haul people, if somebody wanted to call me and said, "Hey, quote this," I can quote it in a matter of 5 minutes. That's how good that's how done. I don't get my quotes from anybody else. I quote my own freight, which I can guarantee you. Most brokers don't know over-dimensional freight. They don't quote their own freight. They get 3 quotes. Gotcha. They go to the customer. I quote my own. So, but yeah, and quoting freight, like I said, it's
a technique, brother. It's a technique.
And there's also, I don't know how much I should quote for this lane. Fine. Post the load for an amount, right? You post the load for $1,000. When the driver calls you, you be honest with them, right? Look, this is a new customer. I know I can't pay $1,000 because it's only going 50 miles, but all I need is a guaranteed truck with a realistic price. And you work with me on this one and help me out. And what price do you need to get the job done, right? Well, I can do it for $650. $650 guaranteed. You can be there tomorrow. You'll hook me up like a tow truck, right? Oh, yeah. Perfect. All right. Good communication. Like that's the most important thing. You want to negotiate with a broker to get top dollar? I could walk you through that in a second.
Yeah, then you go to the start doing that, Everyone's going to hate you. You know that, Eric? All brokers are going to hate you for now.
Yeah, been there,
because if you jump on my show, and even though you're a freight broker, but you're teaching us drivers about how to deal with freight brokers to one day not need freight brokers. So you're kind of like the automated speed checking at Safeway, right? Or no?
Well, I'm not teaching you how to not to be broker. I'm teaching you how to be a better broker than the other broker. Because let's face it, if you know the trucking side of the industry and you can make the conversion to the logistics, because it's a transition. It's hard to not be the trucker and to convert yourself to the true logistics side, right? So my goal isn't to get rid of brokers, it's to get rid of bad brokers. To get rid of brokers who have no idea what they're doing, who have never been, like I said, to me, I hate brokers because there's times that they'll call me for a quote and I'll be like, dude, I'm going to give you a price and you're not going to know how to sell it because you have no idea what it takes. So you're going to look at my price and you're going to laugh at me. Oh, just give me a price. Fine. And I give him a price of $50,000. He's like, well, I got a price from another guy for 20. I said, well, let me break it down for you. It's 18 foot tall. It's going across country. So by the time that guy's done, because here's how much permits and escorts and everything's going to cost. By the time that guy's done, he's going to make $2 a mile. I make $2 a mile hauling the legal freight. Why would I haul something oversized and make the same amount of money? You tell me. So I deal with those brokers all the time. So to me, I would rather a driver come and say, well, this other driver gave me a price of 75 cents. I'd rather that you know how to say, well, wait a minute, customer, because customers will fall for that sometimes, right? Here's the problem I have a lot of customers is customers have called and told me my price is too high. And I'll say, well, what's the other guy's price? And it's a third of my price. And I'll be like, he won't get the job done, but do me a favor. When he doesn't, understand my price is going to be higher because he's going to muddy my waters. He's going to screw up what I now have to come in and do, okay? So be aware of that. And a lot of times the customer finds it hard to put their tail between their legs and come back because I was right? So if you're a driver and you know that some driver can't pick up today and drive that's not a team, and drive 1,000 miles in a day for 75 cents a mile, you can kind of say, well, look, let's understand that that's not a realistic price, and here's why. First of all, he can't drive those miles unless he's a team. Is he a team? Oh, I don't know. Second of all, fuel is this much, cost is this much, insurance is this much. So if that guy's actually giving you that price, he's skipping something. Either he doesn't have insurance or something's going on here. You know what I'm saying? So now you're making the customer aware. So all I'm asking you to do, Mr. Customer, is double check that guy's credentials. Because if he can do it for that price, that's crazy. Now you know that because you know how much insurance costs. You know how much fuel costs. You know how much tires cost. You know how much this stuff costs. So to me, brokers who aren't fully experienced and knowledgeable in this aspect shouldn't be doing it. Because the only person that pays at the end of the day is the customer. They end up paying a hell of a lot more money because they were lied to by a broker that said he could get it done.
I like that.
And it's just like me. If I give a price for a load, right? If I tell you, okay, I quoted this one's going to pay $10,000, right? If the load can't be done for $10,000, I should be held accountable for fraud. Does that make sense? I should, because I gave it to him for $10,000. I quoted the price, not him. So to me, if I knew it could not be done for $10,000 and the driver says, oh, I'll do it for $10,000, and I let that driver do it for $10,000, and I know it cannot legally be done for that price because you got to buy police, you got to get buckets, you got to get permits, you got to get escorts, and I still let that driver have it, I should be arrested for fraud. I'm defrauding the customer. I'm moving their freight for something that can't legally be done. So
I love this, brother. You know, real quick, what I want to do, and you tell me if you're okay with this real quick. Sorry to cut you off. I'm going to put the StreamYard link down. And if you are an owner-operator right now and you're struggling and you're wondering how much you should charge for a load or how much you should bid on a load, jump in.
Or if you want to know how to negotiate with a broker.
We'll do that. Are you okay with that, Eric?
Yeah.
So I'll tell
you what, I have no problem. You bring anybody in here and let's let them be the broker and let me negotiate to try to get the load. I guarantee you they're giving me that load.
You know what we got to do is, I know we always have to let people know, but we have to do some live calls and let the brokers know, like, hey, look, I mean, can we do things like that? Like if a guy ever called you and said, "Look, we're on a YouTube show and we need to get this load," or you just hang up the phone, huh?
Well, it depends on the state too. So you do fall under the you have to let one person know type thing. That's one thing,
Yeah.
depending on the state you're in. But I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one on TV. I'd love to, but I'm not. So I don't know what the legal ramifications would be.
Oh, I would tell them anyways because it'd just be fun to see how they would react, and then I would love to see the way how you would go about it, and so that others can learn from this. So what I'll do is, I put a link up. You guys can copy paste. If you are owner operator right now, and you're confused, you're bouncing off ideas of should you take this load, jump in and we'll see if Eric can solve this and help you. I'm gonna deem you as the pro that's gonna be on here until someone else jumps on and says, Eric is no pro. I know him. He works at Walgreens with Alex. No.
Yeah, I know Walgreens.
That's where I started, bro. I can't believe I went from.
Dude, you don't even know where I started. Let's see. First, I'd say I'm 45 years old, so I started scraping gum off sidewalk at a pizzeria. Then I drove. I played hockey, so I drove Zamboni. I've driven Zamboni, and then ended up getting my CDLB, and I drove for a straight truck, and then I got my CDLA and drove over the road, drove for U.S. Food Service, joined the Coast Guard, left the Coast Guard, went back into trucking. And been doing the same thing forever.
Oh man, look at this right here, Eric. Mike says he's a broker as well, and he does mostly oversized. It'd be great to get you in here just for a second. And,
let's bring him on. I want to hear if he does oversized.
Yeah, talk some shop and stuff. But also, everyone, if you get a chance, right in the live, you'll see the pin. It's Eric's YouTube channel, and he's just.
Does he do heavy or Mike? You do heavy or you do high and wide? Let's see. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But let's stay on regardless for about another 10 minutes, just so that I want people wanting more, and then we'll get some questions answered, and we'll do another segment. And so our goal, and I love this that you're willing to do this, Eric, is get everybody that wants to become an owner operator to also be their own freight broker as well, so that they could leverage and get direct customers. That's what's about.
Correct. Because you need it. Like I said, you need to get to direct customers. Because like I said, it's like the stock market. You want to invest in this. If you invested in Tesla when it started, you'd be loaded today, right? Now, if you day trade Tesla, you ain't going to make as much as if you would have invested in Tesla, right? So you need to invest in yourself and invest in your company and get the direct customers. And that's the true usage of, because if you're not looking to do that as a carrier, then you might as well lease the Landstar, right? You might as well lease that truck someplace and not jump into that carrier aspect, because you're only giving yourself more problems without using it to its most effective usage, which is to get direct customers, bring on other contractors and drivers. And a long time ago, you used to be able to not need a brokerage to be able to broker freight. They changed that law. So you need to get your own brokerage, get that up and running so that you can get direct customers. And just like I said, if you break down, you can now broker. You're supposed to pick up a load on Monday. You broke down someplace, and now you're not going to make it there Monday. Now you have to either give the load back to the customer and tell them I can't do it, or you need to say, hey, I can broker this out, and call a friend of yours and say, go get this load for me. I broke down. I'll pay you this much. And the load's now covered, and the customer is there. Again, their problem is solved. You're there to solve problems.
No, I love that. I love that, brother. And you know what? Our next segment that we will jump on, since you and I have a little bit of time these days, is our next one. Let's actually walk them through opening their own freight brokerage. That'd be pretty cool, brother. Yeah, that'd be a great one.
See, Mike there, he's doing up to 130,000 pounds. So he's doing 13 axle. He's doing 12 and 13 axle freight, mostly wide. And he says the same thing. A lot of brokers have no idea what they're doing. Absolutely. And I might not be talking to Mike, but unfortunately, Mike knows the same thing. 99% of brokers have no idea what they're doing when it comes to oversize. And this is where I'm starting to do a series now on my YouTube channel, breaking down trailers and stuff and breaking that down, because you will get yourself in trouble trusting a broker to quote your oversized freight. I guarantee it. And stuff like
guaranteed.
that.
No, guaranteed. And, it's one of those things
let's do this. Why don't we do this? You want to be a broker? You be the broker, and you got a load. And since nobody's calling in, I don't know if they're afraid. I'm not talking to that broker.
No. What we'll do actually is I'll have a guest next time. And,
all right.
We'll go through it, And so today I kind of just wanted to give a sneak peek of, who you are. And, I like having people on the show that are very transparent. For me, it's not really about becoming this YouTuber or whatnot. It's about helping people. And a lot of people always say, how do you help someone go from company driver to owner operator to successful fleet owner? And people, they say that, but then we jump on the interviews and then it's very general. It's very, let's start deep diving and things like that. So today I would say is definitely the introduction of yourself. And if you guys would like more information, definitely reach out to my guy Eric. Eric, let's shut it down. Let's tell people what your channel is one last time, because that's the least I could do for you. And then from there, hopefully with all these collaborations we do, next thing you know, the word broker won't be so negative. It'll be a positive tool that everyone can use to be successful.
Bad broker should be negative. Good broker with knowledge should be where we all need to be. But I do the Great Freight Sage Logic on YouTube. I think my link was in there someplace. And like I said, and what I've also done is got that factoring deal, the 1.99. If anybody, that was a huge deal. And somebody did jump in and real quick, and I just want to answer this one, and asked if you could be an owner operator and still run the brokerage at the same time. I would not suggest that, but there are people out there that once you have the brokerage that would love to be able to run the brokerage for you, that would be working for you to run the brokerage side. Because I did the same thing as somebody runs the trucking side. So I ran the brokerage side of my buddy. He ran the trucking side, called me up and says, hey, can you get my freight brokerage up and running? And then I'll bring somebody in and handle it after that. And that's what I did for him. So I went in, got his brokerage up and running, got everything, trained the person. The person took over, and then I went back to doing my oversize. So there are people that you could put an ad out there that have experience in running as an agent or working for Sage Robinson, something like that could come with customers possibly, and basically say, hey, run my brokerage for me, and then you do a split with them. But I didn't want to say
okay,
that.
So explain this to me. So you recommend people have their own carrier, have a brokerage, but do not run it yourself.
Not at the same time. Not at the same time. You'll go nuts. So when you're ready to handle the brokerage aspect, like my wife was also an agent with Landstar because I was also a Landstar agent. So I have some Landstar tricks too. I was $1 million agent with Landstar. So I drove for Landstar as she was the agent. Okay. So as an owner operator, you can't be behind the wheel of the truck trying to handle a brokerage. So you have to, once you get a customer in direct freight and stuff, and be able to start doing that, you're going to want to make the conscious decision to say, okay, either your wife or somebody else can, decide on who you're going to put in that place if you still want to stay in the truck. Or you make the decision to put somebody else in the truck, and I can do that in a second too, or you put somebody else in the truck and let him handle that.
That makes sense. You know what? You're right about that though, because my buddy. Oh, you got a phone call or whatnot? Don't worry about it.
No, somebody asked me. No, not me. Somebody asked me something in the thing. He asked me to do a quote, but I didn't know how long you wanted to stay on, or if I could do the quote, and he can contact me through my YouTube page if I had to.
No, if you wanted. Yeah, no. If you want to jump on and do the quote real quick, jump on the. I'll give you the link. Here's the link right here. Jump on, and we'll do a quick quote, and then we'll be good to go. Let me see.
I gotta see.
That'd be cool.
Quick. Hey, to make my life easier, Mike, can you give me the miles on it?
Yeah.
Or
How
jump
cool
in.
is this?
Have him jump in.
Hey, yeah. If he can, he might not be able to because some people are trucking.
Well, somebody was in the shower, so somebody's listening in the love shower. I don't want that person. No offense, but if you're naked right now in the love shower, you don't have to jump in. We can hold off on that.
I hear you. You know what's so cool? You could jump on the computer, give these quotes. How cool is that, man? The show's becoming something really great.
I know.
I appreciate you, Eric.
We're gonna do Dallas, Texas, Syracuse, right? It was Syracuse.
Yeah, yes, Dallas. Yep. Let's get a quote on that. If anyone else needs quotes,
Miles,
we'll get it going, man. Thanks for helping out with this, brother. I have friends that are freight brokers too, but you're a little bit more transparent than they are.
All right, so 10 states. So we're probably looking at. This is gonna be a speed quote without my thing, just so you know.
It's about 1,550 miles, Eric.
Yeah, I actually just ran it. I got to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 states, and he was 12 wide, 9 wide. So you need escorts. It's going to take me a couple more minutes than we probably got, to be honest.
Speed. Go.
All right, I'm going to estimate here. Let's say we're going to need. Coming out of Texas, you don't need any escorts. Oklahoma, you're going to need an escort. Arkansas at 12.9 on a 2-lane, you're going to need an escort. Missouri, you need an escort over 12.4. Illinois, you don't need an escort till 14. Indiana, you need an escort at 12.5. Kentucky, you need it over 12. Ohio, you need it at 13. Pennsylvania is 13. And New York, what's the height on it? What's the height on that? 12 high, you're over 14. You don't need a survey, but you'll need an escort. So you're going to need an escort in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 states. So 1,000 miles times $2, approximately $2 a mile. That's right there is going to cost you easily $2,000. So let's round up with overnights to 2,500. So I got about 2,500 in escorts. Permits are going to be with weight probably about. I'm going to go high on it, so that's 3,000. So let's say that. What am I at? What's 3,000 plus 2,500?
5,500.
5,500. And let's say for an 8-axle, we're probably going to run 6. Let's say 6 times. Let's say it's probably more like this. 6 times plus 5,500. Somewhere around, again, rough estimate. Tell me if I'm right. Okay, about 1,500 miles. So somewhere around $15,000. Were you at somewhere around $15,000, Mike?
Be honest, Mike. Where's Eric at, man? Are you around 15K? Let's see. Let's hear it to believe it. For me, that would be to the truck. Somewhere around 15 grand to the truck. For me, I don't need to know where you're at personally. That's none of my business, and I'm cool with that because I don't know how entailed you were with your customer. Anywhere from 12.7, I think, to 14, 15 grand to the truck. That's probably where I'd be. We'll see where he's at, and then from there, we'll lock out the show. Someone's saying you're the Tom Brady of brokerage. We might make you so, man. We might make you so.
I know. I did that pretty quick. I want to know how close I was. Like again, and it's tough. It's tough too because when it comes to 8-axles, 8-axles are a little bit different because there's not as many 8-axles out there. And with 85,000 pounds, he probably had to put this on an 8-axle. And because it ran East Coast, he needed a spreader bar. So he might have needed an escort also because of length without me knowing because he's got length. So you're running 2S. Oh, wait a minute. It's a stretch load. 45 long in the well. I missed that. No, he was probably around 18 area. I would have been 18 area. Syracuse.
You mean you need 18 to make that work?
Oh, yeah. To a truck? Yeah. 8 axles with the weight and a stretch load. Where'd he go?
Give me a second.
New York 100-foot long. Yep. I missed that. That's why I missed that. You didn't need a survey because of height. You needed one because of length. And I missed the 45 at 48 in the well. So were you at somewhere around 18 area to a truck? No, I'm not cheap either. So I'm not.
Dang, he paid $19,500 to the truck.
All right, not bad, huh?
Hey, You weren't there. If you hear my voice is different, it's because I had to charge my battery real quick. But I took off my mic for a second. But dang,
$1,500 off when like I said, and that was me speed quoting it just by looking at the escorts in there.
I don't call that speed. That took you 3 minutes, Eric. I needed it done in freaking 30 seconds, bro.
Well, that's where I do freight. 19.5 to the truck. I said 18, like I said, and I screwed up because of the survey. So I probably would have been somewhere around 19. So Mike's in the right area, right off the bat. Okay, now I don't know if Mike quotes his own freight or he can do what I just did, but I don't know. That's up to him. So, but yeah, 19.5 area. And again, I might have got a truck for 18. Depending on my guy, might have took it for 18 because he might have had his wife run an escort rather than having to hire an escort. You know what I'm saying? So
I've seen that happen a lot.
A fluctuation of $1,500 on a quote like that, not bad. I don't think I did that bad on that one.
So okay, Eric. So if heavy hauling quote, you have to have so many mechanics to it. Quoting something for dry van or for reefer is a piece of cake, huh?
Yeah. Quoting it because the first thing you need to know is the main thing is yes. You need to know how much you need. And when I tell people to know how much you need, people are like, well, do I need to know how much by mile or how much by day? Which do I do? You need to do both. It's a system of checks and balances because you get paid by the mile, but you don't pay your bank by the mile, right? You pay your bank by the month. So you need to know how much you are going to get by the mile, but you also need to know how much you're going to get for the day. So a lot of times what I'll do for a quote is a truck driver needs to get about $650 a day, let's say, for their equipment, right? I'm factoring a step deck, let's say, or flatbed, or $700 a day, or $800 a day, whatever he needs to get a day. If the driver can do it in a day, to go to the customer and say, well, I need $1,000 for that day, and now you might pay the truck $700. For this run, I need $1,000. Because you're kind of doing a quick calculation in your head how much that driver needs for a day. Because that's the fastest way to do a quote.
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to get our truck drivers up to speed on how much they need for the day, and that way when they work with brokers, everyone can be a little bit more on pace.
Correct, because I can give you a load paying $10 a mile that picks up on February 1st and delivers on February 21st. Well, it pays $10 a mile, but it's only going 1,000 miles. Will that work?
That's not worth it to you.
No. So you need to know, hey, I need $2 a mile, let's just say, or I need $1.50 a mile, plus I need $650 a day. Whatever your numbers are, you have to figure that out. Or I need, you can take a load that's going to get, I used to take, when I was driving myself, I would take loads on Monday to deliver Tuesday to deliver Wednesday to deliver Thursday, and then Friday I'd take a load so I could get a 34-hour restart in for Monday because the short loads paid more money. And I just sit behind the wheel. The longer I could sit behind the wheel, the more money I made. I needed to get it off the truck the next day. I can make a call, but I'm busy quoting a project. Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. And I got it done. We got it done. I got the quote done. So Mike's saying he could call.
No, we're good to go. You know what though, Eric, is what's more important is I think we need to figure out really a simple way for drivers to find out how much money they need a day. So what we'll try and do is I'll try to get one of the subscribers on the show next time, right?
Yeah, bring him on the show and let's break his numbers down. And then whoever wants to be
cell phone bill, car bill, house bill, mortgage,
even if he wants to make up numbers, we don't need his exact numbers because that can be private. You know what I'm saying? So even if he wants to come up with
numbers,
or we can hold him to, we can do that too. We can hold him straight up and just make sure the IRS don't listen. But basically, then what I'll do is I'll basically say I guarantee your people that if they listen to how I negotiate, how I teach them how to negotiate, they will make more money. I guarantee it. You can ask, like I said, by the time I'm done, you will get more money out of a broker. But you've got to learn to sell yourself. You're worth something. The truck's not, because there are thousands of trucks out there. You're worth something, right? That's how you have to look at yourself. Hey, and you have to go to a broker and sell yourself to the broker, because my biggest complaint is drivers that are basically do not communicate with me. They just no communications. They're late. They don't tell me. So I would rather not put a load on a load board. I'd rather call guys direct that I know that know me and pay them more money. Let me tell you something. As a broker, if you make my job harder, I'm not going to pay you more money. If you make my job easier, I will give you more money. So if I got to babysit you like I'm a daycare, you're not getting the most out of me. If you don't if you handle yourself well and you make my life easier, you solve my problems, I guarantee you I give you more money because I don't have to babysit you. I had a guy call me. Oh, I need 8. How much to do this load? I was offering 15. He says, 18. I can do it for 18. I said, if I give you the 18, you're going to make my life easier. You're going to do your check calls. You're going to, show up on time. You're going to do this. Because I even say, will you send me a photo of the load on the trailer? And, oh, yeah, I'll do all that. All right, I'll give you the 18 for that. Because you made my life easier. And you sent me a load of the photo. I can now use that photo as promotion in an email to find more customers. Right?
No, that's great. And so what as the ultimate goal that you want to do for the people that are going to be watching these segments? Do you want them to be able to just have complete direct customers, or is that a fantasy world? You're always going to need to work with everybody, from brokers.
You're always going to need to work. You're always going to need to work with everybody because unless you can find customers in every delivery point, you got to get back to your customer, right? My goal is to make people understand that this industry, it's easy to get into sometimes, and people don't understand that you can really make something out of it and become something with it if you put the work in. And real quick before I let you go is at one point during 2008, I had no money. I'm talking no money. I had my truck. We had the recession. I was living in a house, sleeping with my wife. We were sleeping on a mattress on the floor that was, collecting mold underneath because the floor was wet. I had nothing in the bank. I had a breakdown, and I couldn't afford $7 to fix my truck. I had a guy in a parking lot spot me the money to be able to get a part to be able to fix my truck to get home. And I had to make a decision on, do I keep doing this or do I start doing the brokerage? How do I make money? And I pushed myself, dug myself out, worked from 4 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night, worked as a Landstar agent, working with brokers and posting loads. And I just realized I know what it's like to not have money and be broke and try to look your wife in the eye and say, I don't know how we're going to pay for that. And I feel it crushes me to think about that. And I know there are other people that are jumping into this, that will happen to them if they're led astray in this industry. Because of that. And there's nothing better than helping somebody when they come back and they say, geez, thank you. Because I was almost going to have to make that call with my wife and look her in the face and tell her that.
But you already know the game, brother. We try to help people, but there's always going to be people that, at the end of the day, regardless if you're a trucker in the past, own a trucking company, some people, they've just had so many conversations and experiences with bad brokers that when they talk to someone like yourself, they're so turned off, right? And so it's just one of those things where, we're not here to change people's minds, but for the ones that need help, I'm telling you, you're going to get into this business, people. And the first place you're going to have to go, unless you have a direct customer or your grandfather or father owns his own trucking business, is you're going to have to start working the spot market. And if you're not, then you're just going to be a lease operator on for a company anyways. And that's just a different game in itself. That's right. I don't want to call it, some people try to call that a glorified company driver. No, I don't call it that. I'm just saying that's a segue step to actually being an owner operator. So, our goal is always just to help you. So many people, disclaimer, right? Me and my partner, we have a trucking dealership. Can I tell you how many people, Eric, come to me, have the money to buy a truck, and then they, as they're buying it that day, they say, "Hey, Alex, where can I take my truck to work?" And I go, "Are you serious? Are you serious? You're putting down 25%. You're putting down $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 of your own hard work from whatever business that you're doing, or you're a company driver for 5 to 10 years, and now you're asking me, where do I put this truck to work? We don't want that for you. We want you to understand and just know where to go. And here's the best part.
Correct.
Eric makes money. I make money. We don't need to make more money off of people learning. We just want you to get in the business and get what you can off of it. And in the future, if we could grow together money-wise, that's great. But, dude, if everyone's winning, then there's always more to give, right?
Absolutely. You don't want to be on the top looking down. You want to be on top standing next to people, right?
Hey.
So for you to be all alone up at the top looking down don't mean stuff. It don't mean crap. Sorry, I got to protect my language here. But for you to be up there when you're all looking down, it's a good feeling to know that, okay, we're up here together. You know what I mean? It's better to just look down on people ain't the person I want to be. It's the person that's standing up there where somebody's standing next to you saying, damn, I like the view up here. It's nice, ain't it? But you work to get up there. The key is it takes work to get up there. I'll show you how to work to get up there, but you got to put in the effort. And to me, this is where, like I said, teaching you how to negotiate with brokers and what's the biggest thing is I want to start doing too is what's behind the curtain, of the Wizard of Oz. Is it just a little guy pulling levers, or it's actually not? There's a huge world behind the curtain of a broker. There's a lot of stuff they need to know, and this is where it's good to let drivers understand it, because like I said, I don't want to get rid of brokers. I want to make better brokers. I want them, and to make better brokers, you've got to have the knowledge of the industry, because that's what makes me so good, because I've been all the way up from the bottom of driving, from loading trucks. I was a loader to all the way up to the top to a broker, and that's what makes the industry better. That makes all of us get more money. We're all going to get more money when we're all real good at our jobs. Let's just face it. You know what I mean? What makes it just cheap freight. You're absolutely right. But those are the people that don't know how to sell themselves, and they're going to keep hauling cheap freight. They'll eventually go out of business, but they're going to keep hauling it. We just want to make it where we're worth the money we're asking for.
Well, and that's
want
the
to be
thing,
worth the money.
And I agree with you there is where I would say, honestly, the more you understand, the person you're working with, the more you actually have more power and can negotiate.
Correct.
Believe me when I say, if you're an amazing freight broker, then you're going to be a successful owner operator.
Correct.
It's really that way. But, it's just one of those things, people. Have as many tools in your toolbox as you can. Some people say, I would never use a factoring company. Well, what happens if you scale your business and now you're doing $20 million a year? If you don't have $20 million of gross money coming in and out, that business will die. You might have to get it from somewhere, right?
And that's right. And that's why the reason, and I'm not trying to push the fact, is I went out and got the best deal I could possibly get from my factoring company to give to everybody else. Dude, you ain't going to believe this, but I guarantee you, I can prove it if I need to. My factory company is a factory company for DAT board. It's Triumph Business Capital, right? Anybody that signs up, that I sign up with them, gets 1.99 and no ACH fees, okay? Carrier and broker. It's a better rate than I get. I'm at 2.49. I don't care.
So why don't they bring you down to 1.99?
I never asked to it. To be honest, I never asked for it. It wasn't even it was the fact that they were willing to do that for me. And give that, for me to be able to give that to other people. I never even felt I needed to go, because even at 249 doesn't hurt me, but it was such a big deal for them to work with me and get this deal that I didn't even ask. It wasn't even for me to ask. That's what you know what I'm saying? Because they
1.99 is legit, bro. I mean, 1.99 is legit. So full transparency here.
Mm-hmm.
People signing up for this, I'm letting people know, look, 1.99, that's pretty damn legit. Now, from you signing people up, what does the company do for you, brother?
They put me on. They have to put me on as a salesperson, so that way I have to be accountable for my actions. So I get 3% of the 1.99%. So let me explain that it's not a lot of money. It's not.
Right. No, I get you.
It's not 3% of 1.99% doesn't keep me afloat. But like I said, to me, it wasn't about that. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't. It was. I went to him and said, I want a better deal. I want a better deal than any other YouTuber is offering, and they gave it to me. I'm like, done.
Well, no, and that's why. And again, I'm no disrespect. I just
no. I have no problem saying it because, like I said,
I'm full about transparency. That's all, brother. So,
absolutely.
My community. It's not even my community. I just, I love my community and of truck drivers so much. And there's nothing wrong with making an honest living with everything. And 1.99 is so legit. It's like that is a great deal.
Right.
But I just asked because it's just one of those things where, as long as people understand fully what's going on, then they just never feel lied to, and that's all it is. So I'm not fact checking you or nothing like that. I'm just, I just want the community to know, and so, bro, I see us doing more segments together. I definitely want to even have other brokers that might come in and actually be like, you know what, this guy, Eric, I'm watching him. He's full of ish. I would like to see a conversation.
Man, I love it. I'm a debater. Just so they know, I'm a debater, and I'm ruthless. So the funny part is there are, and Mike can probably, I don't know if he's this bad, but I know I am. There are times when I've had customers call me and say, hey, you're about $20,000 too high in your price. I'm like, who'd you get the other price from? Oh, this guy at Penske Logistics. I'm like, get him on the phone. Get him on the phone on a 3-way call. By the time I'm done talking to him, if you feel comfortable with him hauling your load, let him haul it. Right. And if I feel comfortable him hauling your load, I'll tell you straight up he should haul it for that price. I have never had the customer go with the other person by the time I'm done on the phone.
Woo! Hey,
never. Because what I just did, like I said, what I just did right there by quoting that load, just like I did, 99% of brokers can't do what I just did there. 99% can't come within 1,500 miles of what $1,500 of what that dude paid, just in my head. Just in my head, within 3 minutes. So this is what I'm talking about. So the brokers want to come on, okay. I'd love to have a driver come on. I'd love to be honest, I'd love to have your drivers come on, and I will show them. They can be the broker. I'll be the driver, and show them how to get the most out of that broker.
We got to do it. We got to do it because I need people to because I'm always transparent. I've been a mover my whole life. I'm a generational mover, and when you move loads, those are through agencies. I'm through North American agencies. So as a driver, I am a contractor, but I'm leased onto North American Van Lines, and then my agency gets my loads from our corporate. So it's just one of those things where we don't have load boards, right? We could, not at the level that I'm doing moves, household moves. So honestly, for me personally, I'm learning as we're going as well. For me, it's easy to get direct customers. I move high-end furniture. People that even know how to pick up a box don't want to pick up a box. It's really simple to get a customer.
Yeah, trust me. I absolutely understand, man. Absolutely understand. But
but that's where it is, man. I think that's great, man. So everybody, if you guys get a chance, subscribe to my man. We're here. We're all trying to learn together, grow together, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of experience that actually don't know what they're talking about. And so what I like to do is I want to make sure that people that are getting into the industry now get good information, because we don't want to set people up for failure. That's the only thing.
That is the biggest thing I tell my base. I said, look, I don't like surprises, and I will not set somebody up for failure. I won't set them up for failure. I might be a blunt New Yorker, and I might be, but I won't set you up for failure. And that is one of the things, like I said, I don't like surprises. I used to tell my customers, like, look, I used to even tell Santa Claus, don't wrap my gifts, just shoot them down the chimney. I don't need them wrapped. No surprises, man. That's the type of person I am. Yeah, I'm excited. Reach out. I want everybody to reach out that wants to learn how to, even just to negotiate, because like I said, negotiating with your brokers and work in the spot market should be used to learn how to communicate eventually with a customer.
No, I love that.
I started the show with that. You've got to use that as the minimum wage job opportunity board. And you're just there to learn how to talk eventually to a customer. Because talking to a customer is hard compared to a broker. You only get one chance. I love that. You can't hang up,
Yeah, but what I just thought about too, Eric, is the fact that you do a heavy haul of freight, right?
Yep.
Most people aren't going into that industry. So it's not like you're really selling anything to anybody. You know what I'm trying to say?
Correct. And that's another thing, too, I suggest people do is to learn that industry, because there is money in it. If you're already doing flatbed and step deck,
we got to talk about that in another segment, bro, because I always hear all this big money, but I don't know if you can expose some of that money or not. But people are always confused. They go, look, should I go to heavy haul? Is it worth it? And honestly, what are the steps to get there? Right? Because I'll be honest, every time I talk to a heavy hauler, it's always two things. One, he was a son of somebody. They let him do step deck, and boom, they let him do RGN one day or some crap like that, and he got into it. But if you're sitting here watching us, you're at Knight Swift Transportation, Werner, you talk about any mega carrier you want, right? But their dream is to be a heavy hauler because they hear that's the big money. How do we get that guy or girl to become a successful heavy hauler? What companies will hire to get you there and train you? So we need a little bit more of that too, if you have access to that.
I do. It's a long thing, so we won't do it here, but it's definitely something I can walk. I'm doing a little bit of segment on my stuff, breaking down trailers, understanding trailers. But it's definitely a longer segment that I could absolutely say, okay, here's where you want to start. Here's what you want to learn. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to deal with, securement, because securement, you need to know securement already. You know what I mean? If you're a flatbedder, you already know how to secure things. You just want to know how to do this, what's next? Where do I go next to start doing oversize? And that would be definitely another segment. Like I said, I think we should easily set up. We got a lot of segments we need to start doing, because I'll tell you what, I guarantee you.
I'll tell you, Eric, I don't care, bro. I don't care if you have one subscriber or if you have 1 million, I just want to help this community, and I feel you want the same thing. And so, it's fun, bro. I'm having a good time with this. And I like your killer freaking New Jersey. Is it New Jersey or New York?
New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker, Buffalo, New York.
Oh, man.
So
what
there's nothing you can say to hurt my feelings, but I've heard it all. You know what I'm saying?
So what is the best pizza, bro? What is the best pizza? Do we put pineapple on pizza or do we not? What is it?
You can. Basically, the best pizza is Lenova Pizzeria in Buffalo, New York. That's where and Anchor Bar is where chicken wings started. So that's pretty much Anchor Bar in Niagara Falls is where chicken wings started, and Lenova Pizza is famous. It's famous pizza in Buffalo, New York. You can do pineapple, you crazy people, but I can't, you're just nuts. You know what I mean? So, ain't nothing I can tell you. It's just some people are just wrong, But pineapple's fine. Exactly. Crazy's crazy,
Oh, Jesus, God, man. Yeah. No, this is great, man. Again, everybody, I'm going to have, after we get off this, I already have you in the pinned live comment of your channel, Eric, that I'm also going to have your channel in the descriptions. I'm going to hook you up, bro. So if anyone wants some more value on how to gain customers, if you're an owner operator or thinking about becoming one, then definitely reach out to my guy. Also, I love you, Snore Lord. I don't know if you're watching this, but I will have yours in the description, and I'm going to have Snore Lord on the show next time as well, because he's just a great guy, And so, yeah, shout-outs to anyone before I let you go on today's live.
No, just thanks, Snore Lord, for hooking me up with you, and thank you and everybody that's coming and joining on it. I just want to thank you guys, and like I said, I guarantee that you're going to learn how to make more money in this industry and to do it right. Because I'm not looking to set anybody up for failure, and we just want to help, and because everybody starts making more money, we're all going to make more money, and you're going to make my job easier. The more it makes my job easier. You know what I mean? I don't have to babysit. So,
hey, I love it, brother. I love it, man. So, no, thank you so much, man. And we're definitely going to see you next time. And you and I will chat, Eric. You need, what was it? You need to send me a phone, or I got to send you one? Because
one of us has the same phones. Dude, I don't have a cell phone. I don't go anywhere. I don't have time to go anywhere. So I have a cell phone. So he's texting my landline and it's not coming through. So one of us got to send one of us a phone because I have Apple. I got 3 Apple computers here, but they can only text to an iPhone. So I don't know. I guess I just have to email you. So
yeah, I tell you, man. You're so damn busy that all you do is stay on the computer all day. I get it, man. I get it.
Pretty much. That's all I do.
I appreciate you, bro, and we'll just keep it going, man. That's what the show's about, man. The Asian My Show is just about hooking people up, man, and that's what I think you're about too. And the community will talk for themselves. They'll know.
And I think that's key. I think what's key is the more people we can get subscribing to each other's channels, the more we can help, because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? Is those subs help us help you. I think it was, what was that? Jerry Maguire? Help me help you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sub up and that way I can get comments and you can get comments and they can ask us what they need. Oh, I need him to do this, or I need one of this, or this is the show I need. The more subs and people we get asking, the more shows we can produce and the more people that get helped.
And that's all it is, man. So, thank you so much, bro. So we'll see you in the next one. We'll contact and we'll be good, man. Have a great weekend, brother. Stay blessed. And I appreciate you for jumping on the show.
No problem. Eat your pizza.
Peace.
See ya. Bye-bye.
What's up, other truckers? You are now watching the Asian